Anthony Richardson, no longer the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. And obviously, I've been a big Anthony Richardson proponent because we know what the upside is. This is also the risk now that came with Anthony Richardson. There was the fact that he could be the starter and be maybe top 5 to top 10 on a weekly basis. Obviously, we know he has some inconsistencies when it comes to his ceiling and floor, right? We know that. But then also, there was the chance that he was not the starter. So what does this mean for Anthony Richardson? If you drafted Anthony Richardson at a level that was in a single QB league, I think it's in a 12-team league or less, you probably can go to waivers and just wait to pick him up. I think it's that is the news. The news came out that Daniel Jones will be the starter for the remainder of the season. It wasn't a short-term thing, is the quote from Shane Steichen. Now, there's a few things that could happen. Obviously, Daniel Jones could be, injured at some point in the year. He could not play well at some point in the year. But there's also the possibility that Daniel Jones takes his team to the playoffs, and Anthony Richardson doesn't see the field at all this season. So I would err on the side of caution and just say, you know what, Anthony Richardson, chalk it up as a bad pickup, chalk it up as a bad, if it's a bad pickup or it's a bad, play on my call. If you want to, call it a JHEN call, whatever it is, that's fine. We move on. Go get Daniel Jones now, and this now becomes an intriguing upside quarterback too. I think Daniel Jones does have the ability to use his legs the same way that Anthony Richardson did, right? Obviously not the same type of upside, but Daniel Jones can hold his own in the run game, and he probably will deliver a much more consistent setting, I'll say, for your quarterback position, especially in super flex leagues. He's going to have that nice, safe floor with a little bit of the rushing upside as well. The good thing about if you have Daniel Jones is the receiving core is there. You got Michael Pittman, Josh Downs when he gets back healthy. You have Alec Pierce and A.D. Mitchell, who are good downfield threats. And then you also got Tyler Warren. So I think for Daniel Jones, for those in Superflex leagues, he's not a bad pickup if he was out there for some reason. But also, I think he's startable at least early on in the year. Let's see. If you have a better QB2, obviously go with them. But I think there's going to be weeks where Daniel Jones is startable. So as much as I liked Anthony Richardson, we got to move away from that. Now it's Daniel Jones time. Get him in there. As far as the running back, Jonathan Taylor, I think this doesn't really move anything for me. He still has always been in my top 5 to 7 running backs. I've taken him pretty early, and I would continue to do so. I think Jonathan Taylor has immense upside on a weekly basis just because of his home run hitting ability. So they're going to force feed him. Obviously, if your concern was they're going to take away carries, they're going to take away touches from him in the run game because Anthony Richardson will pull it at the goal line, you're going to get more rushing touchdowns now with Jonathan Taylor, as we saw towards the back half of last year. Last 4 games of the year, he went crazy, had over 600 yards. So I think we'll get a lot more of that from Jonathan Taylor. Still has the same type of upside to me with or without Anthony Richardson. As far as the receivers go, now Michael Pittman, obviously, he's one of the names I don't understand why he's fallen. He's fallen outside of the top 40 receivers, but with Daniel Jones in there, we should get a nice consistent floor out of Michael Pittman, probably less of the variance that we saw with Anthony Richardson last year. So I think maybe the ceiling's a little bit more limited, but don't forget, in his first 3 years in the league, Michael Pittman was a top 20 receiver every single one of those years. I think maybe his first year he wasn't, but Michael Pittman's been an elite receiver. So don't forget that. And just because he was injured last year, I think we're getting a discount on his value. He's a nice, very nice wide receiver 4 to have right now, and I think he has upside to be way better than that. As far as Josh Downs, this was a pick that a lot of people liked this offseason. He got banged up during training camp, so we haven't got to see Josh Downs on the field, and his ADP has slowly started to climb back down. I think Josh Downs is actually going to have a nice role with Daniel Jones. Whereas Anthony Richardson was kind of more deep play or bust. He's using his legs a lot more, taking more shots downfield. I think Daniel Jones will look to move the chains a little bit more, kind of like he did with Malik Neighbors. So I think we see a little bit more volume out of Michael Pittman, out of Josh Downs. And I think Josh Downs does have some intriguing value here as a flex wide receiver 4 play. So if he slips down the draft boards a little bit too far, that's fine. I would rather have Michael Pittman over Josh Downs. And then Tyler Warren obviously has been used out the backfield, in the slot, in the short passing game, over the middle. They're using him in a ton of different ways right now as a blocker. And so I think with Daniel Jones at quarterback, we'll probably see a little bit more consistency out of Tyler Warren. I think that's what this brings, right? When we talk about the difference between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, I don't think Daniel Jones is the greatest quarterback, but I do think he raises the floor of all the Colts skill players. Maybe the ceiling's a little bit limited as it was with Anthony Richardson, but I think Daniel Jones provides a very nice floor for those who are drafting Colts players right now. So for me, overall, I think this is a consistency move. I think Shane Steichen wants to win football games. And with Anthony Richardson, there's just too many ways that things can play out. Even though he played really well, and he led a lot of scoring drives during the preseason. But I think what Daniel Jones brings is just a little bit more consistency, probably a little bit less erratic play. And then the hard decision, 5 weeks into the year is, hey, do you bench your young guy, give up on him for Daniel Jones versus like if Daniel Jones doesn't play well, now you can go back to your development project. And I think it doesn't hit the same for your fans. So in a perfect world, I think this actually – for Anthony Richardson, he needs this. Give him a little bit more of a leash. Give him a little bit, longer to develop and learn the playbook and get things right, protections right. I think for Daniel Jones, this gives the Colts an immediate chance to win football games. I actually think Richardson is on par with it, but it's not my decision to make. So there it is.